Okay. We have one more card, Mr. Carpenter. As you know, citizen and public, as you know, the citizen communication is to provide 3 minutes to present an item, a specific item that hasn't been previously brought to the attention of the board. This card has to do with the litigation that the city has pending with the Ethics Commission for declaratory judgment. Is this something that we can hear since this matters in litigation?
Mayor, you typically don't have discussion, public discussion about matters in litigation.
All right. Well then, Mr. Burks, I'll certainly invite you to speak individually with board members if you wish, but are you advising us not to hear from Mr. Burks?
All I'm saying, Mayor, is that you've got a matter in litigation and you all typically don't talk about matters in litigation. You have a matter in litigation and you typically don't talk about matters in litigation. As to this matter in litigation, it has been discussed by the board publicly, and actually the board gave authority to go ahead and file the suit.
Tom, speak up. We want to be fair on this matter, and so I'm just trying to get some direction from you.
Just a second.
You're not recognized, Mr. Burks.
You have a matter in litigation. The board has discussed this matter in the past and actually made a direction at one of its agenda meetings to pursue this litigation. The board typically does not discuss matters in litigation, and our office has been very consistent in saying it should not discuss matters. And therefore, I would recommend that you do not.
Mr. Burks, can you discuss with us without referencing the litigation?
Yes, Mayor. And thank you for your time, and I certainly understand the position the board is in and the advice it just received from the city attorney. I would call the board's attention first to the board's policy on citizen communication. I was joking earlier, this is like the dessert at the end of the meal, fun stuff. But the policy is actually not as you were just advised. The policy has previously been brought to the attention of the board and is not already on the agenda. The substance of my comments are not already on the agenda. Therefore, my comments fall within the citizen communication time. So I think you're improperly advised about me talking about the substance of what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is I would ask the board to place back on the agenda. It's not on the agenda now, so that's why I can talk about it. To place back on the agenda consideration of the lawsuit where this board has personally sued 2 individual citizens of Little Rock. And the reason I would ask so is I think the ordinance that you passed authorizing your employee, your city attorney to do that lawsuit, what he has filed is not actually what you authorized. You authorized a neutral declaratory judgment action to ask the court to ascertain what the law is, tell us what the law is with the conflict between state campaign finance law and city law. That's not actually what was filed. What was filed was a lawsuit against 2 individuals that named them personally and asked that they be fined. Director Compuris, Director Wyrick, I served with your husband. If you had an employee at your businesses that did something that was against your wishes, and in doing so actually called another attorney a coward, as your attorney has done on the record, I think that would be a cause for concern for you to place that back on the agenda and say, let's take another look at this. So that's what I'm asking you to do, is place the lawsuit back on the agenda, because your attorney has not filed a neutral action. He has sued 2 individuals and asked that they be fined, and that's not a neutral action. That's not what you authorized. I think the solution to this, rather than hear my perspective or different perspectives, the solution is to work on the underlying ordinance. Trying to do the right thing. It's always the right time to do the right thing. I think the ordinance is overbroad under the First Amendment. I think you can work on the underlying ordinance. You can have a circuit court take down the whole ordinance and put everybody on the same page, or y'all could work on it, but I think it merits being placed back on the agenda. I've got the utmost respect for you, Mayor, for Vice Mayor. This is not a comment on y'all personally or your previous decision, but I think that decision was an error. I think it's always the right time to do the right thing. Place this suit back on the agenda. Have your attorney either file a neutral declaratory judgment action that is not an enforcement action, that doesn't sue individuals personally. That's a campaign action. Any campaign can sue another campaign. Any individual citizen can sue a citizen. That's not what y'all have done. The equivalent of what y'all have done is if the Obama Department of Justice sued the Donald Trump campaign. That is what y'all have done. That's what got filed. So, Mayor, you may disagree. The overwhelming consensus of the legal community that I've talked to, there are over 20 lawyers who have volunteered their time to defend these 2 citizens. Ask you to place it back on the agenda, work together, work on the underlying ordinance. I think that's solution. And if an employee of yours, Director Campuris or Director Richardson, calls another attorney cowardly in the paper, I think it would be something that you should follow up on. Thank you.